Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take this time to have a review of modules 1 and 2, in particular because we are coming up on the first quiz, and with quiz 1 I want you to be as prepared as possible. So at the onset of this course, we have begun to look at the idea of participation as it relates to public administration, and in particular how it relates to the budgeting process. And so since budgeting really determines, at least public budgeting determines on who gets what and who gets what benefits and who actually pays for those benefits, it's important to understand the idea of participation. And increasingly over the last several years, public participation has received a lot more attention, whereas the public wants to be more involved in the decision-making process of government, and at least allowing government to understand what individuals and groups of individuals want from their government. And this is becoming increasingly more efficient, or at least easy, with the use of technology. So typically in the past, if you wanted to participate with government, you'd have to go to a town meeting or a public meeting in person. And while you can still do that, you have other opportunities as well, such as viewing the meetings online, or viewing them on a closed-circuit TV that may be streamed at a different time or date. You also have the opportunity to complete citizen satisfaction surveys, and this is something that some local governments and county and state governments do in a way to facilitate communication between government and the public. So with the use of technology, this has become increasingly more easy. Yet it's important to remember that the best way to hold your government accountable is through elections and through voting. One of the things I typically ask my students is for them to find out who the mayor of the city is, who the mayor is in the city in which they live, so that they at least have an idea of what that person's viewpoints are, and become familiar with the official that is really leading the city. Another thing that's important is that the elections, or at least through elections, and we have a presidential election coming up now in the fall, that these candidates will say just about anything to get elected. So you have to really cut through the mess to see what is going on and what their true positions are. So in terms of budgetary preferences, it's difficult to assess what a candidate really believes, because now they are speaking about a bunch of different issues and different policy initiatives. So for assignment number 1, I provide two similar policy initiatives by 2 different candidates, and ask you to kind of look at that and evaluate those their positions and what you think of that. And because of the difficulty in really assessing the budgetary preferences of elected officials, we have things like the Freedom of Information Act, Open Government Act, and Sunshine Laws in different localities to help government become more transparent. So these are things that are really done to make things or make it easier for the public to participate with its local government. And over time, we have found that this has really been beneficial and has allowed for greater inclusion and greater not just participation, but knowledge that the public has about their government and about the budgetary process overall.